Hello and welcome. Today we're going to dive into a challenge that I know a lot of people face. How on earth do you make sense of the overwhelming world of cancer research and all the supplements out there? We're going to look at a guide that's designed to bring some real structure and clarity to this incredibly complex topic.
If you or a loved one has ever gone down that late-night internet rabbit hole of cancer research, you know this feeling. It is just an absolute ocean of information, and it's so easy to feel like you're drowning in data, studies, and a million different opinions.
And that really gets to the core of the problem, doesn't it? You've got preclinical studies, clinical trials, articles on countless different compounds. The sheer volume is it's daunting. The challenge isn't just trying to keep it all straight in your head, it's figuring out how to make any of it actually useful for one specific person's situation.
So yeah, we're not starved for information, not at all. We are starved for a system. The real problem isn't finding more data, it's organizing what we find in a way that's actually useful and coherent. And that is exactly where a dedicated framework can make all the difference in the world.
And this brings us to the tool we're exploring today, the View Protocol Report. It's designed specifically to be that framework, to bring a real sense of order to the chaos of all that information gathering.
So what is it exactly? Well, the best way to think about it is like a personalized digital binder. You feed it the information you've been gathering, the compounds you're researching, specific health data, and it helps organize everything into one clear, structured report just for your own educational use.
Okay, now before we go a single step further, this is without a doubt the most important slide in this entire explainer. I really want to stress this. This tool is for organizing your research. It is not a source of medical advice. The whole point is to create a guide so you can have a more informed conversation with a licensed medical professional. Not, and I repeat, not to replace one.
So how does this tool actually build that structured report? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the key components, and we're going to start with the most important one, the personal context that really forms the foundation for everything else.
See, everything starts with the individual. Instead of looking at all this research in a vacuum, the report grounds every single piece of information in a very specific context, your detailed patient profile. This means any data on a compound is looked at alongside things like your specific diagnosis, the medications you're already on, and even how well your organs are functioning. It makes the output so much more relevant.
And this structured approach doesn't stop there. It extends to how every single compound is analyzed. It's not just a simple list of things you're curious about. For every substance, the report organizes the research into 4 key areas: the preclinical evidence, how it's thought to work, dosing ranges that have been seen in studies, and critically, its known safety profile.
Let's make this a little more real with an example. So let's say you're researching curcumin. The report would pull together a summary of its studied anti-inflammatory effects, but it would also flag a really critical limitation: its low bioavailability. That means your body has a really hard time absorbing it, which is a crucial detail for any real-world discussion. It's a perfect example of getting both sides of the story.
And here's another example of that balanced approach. For EGCG, the stuff in green tea, you'd see the research on its anti-angiogenic properties, its potential to mess with a tumor's blood supply. But right alongside that promising data, you get a critical safety warning about potential liver issues if you take it in high doses. It's all about creating a complete, nuanced picture.
The report can also connect research to an even deeper level of your personal data. So for users who input specific genetic mutations, it can highlight compounds that have been studied in relation to those pathways. For instance, linking a BRCA2 mutation to research on curcumin. But, and this is so important, the key phrase here is hypothesis generation only. This is just a starting point for a question. It is not an answer.
The tool can also help you visualize what a protocol might look like by organizing the compounds into a sample schedule. But what's really cool is that it includes a why column. It explains the educational rationale behind certain timings, like supporting metabolism with breakfast. This gives you a really clear framework for a conversation about what a potential daily routine could even look like.
Now, beyond the basics, the report also has these optional modules for anyone who wants to explore some of the more experimental, cutting-edge ideas in cancer research.
One of these is the Ferroptosis Protocol Builder. Now, ferroptosis is a pretty new area of research, and it's all focused on a specific type of iron-dependent cell death. This module lets you organize information on this highly experimental topic purely for your own educational exploration.
Another advanced concept the tool can help you organize is the press-pulse theory. Think of it like this. The press is a steady, continuous stressor on cancer cell metabolism, like a specific diet. The pulse, then, is a short, high-intensity intervention, like a targeted compound. This tool just helps you organize your research within that kind of strategic framework.
So, after all this data entry, all this organization, what's the end goal? What is the true purpose of creating a report like this? Well, it really all comes down to one simple word: collaboration.
This whole process is designed to take you on a real journey. First, it helps you organize that mountain of information you've collected. Second, by doing that, it helps reduce that feeling of being completely and totally overwhelmed. And third, and this is the most important part, it prepares you to have a structured, productive discussion.
And this is the key takeaway right here. This report is not a treatment plan to follow. It's a discussion draft. It's a tool you bring with you to your doctor or your oncology team to say, hey, I've done some research on these topics. Here is how I've organized my thoughts. Can we talk about this? It transforms that overwhelming data dump into a focused conversation starter.
And that really leaves us with a final thought. This isn't about finding some magic bullet online. It's about using tools to turn chaos into clarity. So the question we'll leave you with is this: how could turning your research into a structured story empower you and your healthcare team to work together more effectively? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.